dream is over. Hansi Flick's free-scoring Barcelona team, arguably the most exciting in European football right now, will not win the treble.
The prisoner of the moment, but was that one of the best two-legged ties in the Champions League in the past 20 years? Oh, no one can remember what happened yesterday, let alone...
I mean, you could just say ever and I'll be fine with it too.
Yeah.
Off the back of arguably the most entertaining Champions League semi-final second leg of all time, but the result in the bag, the big question is, how did Barcelona's goal-scoring machine fail? Is the season over? What's the definition of failure for Barcelona? A lot of questions, but the big talking point goes down to that night at the Giuseppe Meazza. So getting into it then, how did Hansi Flick's monster attacking force fail? On one hand, it's easy to point out that Barcelona had to make changes to the backline due to injury. Eric Garcia and Gerard Martin came in for regular fullbacks Alejandro Balde and Jules Koundé. And while these two might be a bit lower in terms of quality, they certainly aren't horrible options. In the same game, Gerard Martin assisted 2 of Barcelona's goals, and Eric Garcia scored 1 of them. So where did the problem come from? Well, it's again a collective thing. Barcelona's Highline isn't down to who plays in where, or players getting in and out of the lineups. It's a collective. It's Hansi Flick's system, particularly with defense, to squeeze up the opposition in their half and control the game, at the risk of getting countered. Honestly, watching Barcelona play this season, despite pulling off impressive comebacks against the likes of Benfica and Atletico Madrid, or even Inter in both legs, I mean, they did come back twice. It was clear that this team and this system was a high-risk, high-reward, a gamble that so far had been paying off for Hansi Flick and his team. Barcelona have caught their opponents offside 164 times this season, more than any team across the top 5 European leagues. Bring this figure down to Champions League and it's 73 offsides in 13 matches. That's more than double the amount of second-placed Aston Villa. High risk, high reward. It's a system that worked. By using that high line, Barcelona has won possession in the attacking third 5.4 times per 90 in La Liga, the highest win rate in the league in this category. In the first few months into the new season, Hansi Flick and this tactic looked unstoppable, unplayable, until now. Which brings us to the other angle in this situation, Inter Milan. If there's been a word to sum up that team this season, it's underrated. But in the context of Barcelona, it's how they proved to be different.
A lot of the teams in Spain have not been clever enough to figure it out. Yeah, to figure out a better way of beating it, I should say.
See, this is the idea. It's almost as if Barcelona hadn't come against a team as structured and tactically disciplined as Inter, which, looking at the teams they've faced this season, actually might be the case. In La Liga, Flick's system has worked. The closest team that would have been able to perform, at least to a certain extent, what Inter did is Real Madrid. They've beaten Los Blancos 3 times in 3 different competitions this season, including 2 finals. Then you look at their Champions League fixtures. The teams that stand out, Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, Inter Milan, Benfica and Barcelona, hadn't faced a team as tactically sound as Inter Milan. And now they've opened the lapses with this Barcelona team. How? Apart from the tactical discipline, there was also something else.
It's amazing. Inter with 1 ball. They win 1 ball, boom, 2 passes, goal.
So why
boom,
isn't that good
goal.
football too?
Inter Milan was efficient. For context, they've converted 7 out of 9 shots on target over 2 legs. This in itself is crazy. They came into this with a game plan to maximize every opportunity they got, and they took it. But we're trying to see this from a Barcelona perspective. What did they do, or didn't do? And in this case, it was a case of 2 wing threats. Particularly after the first leg, this was a notion. How does Inter Milan find a way to stop Barcelona's wing threat, Lamine Yamal? They were open about it.
Yamal, che chiaramente è un talento che nascono ogni 50 anni, dei talenti così non l'avevo mai visto dal vero, l'ho visto stasera per la prima volta e ci ha creato problemi, l'abbiamo raddoppiato, triplicato, poi ci mancavano giocatori da altre parti del campo, poi il secondo tempo abbiamo aggiustato qualcosa e abbiamo tenuto il campo benissimo e chiaramente potevamo anche vincerla, però andiamo avanti, una semifinale qui a Barcellona giocata in questo modo è un motivo di grande orgoglio e come ho detto che Yamal è un fenomeno che nasce ogni 50 anni, vorrei fare anche un plauso.
Even the Inter manager, Simone Inzaghi, openly talked about how good and how talented Lamine Yamal is. From a Barcelona perspective, it just feels like this. in line with the compliments the team got, made them miss the bigger picture. Inter Milan too had a wing threat of their own.
And so Dumfries, he took advantage of the hand he was dealt. He terrorized that right-hand side, even appearing in central channels on a quick turnover from Barcelona. Pressure after a loss by Inter, giving Barcelona a little bit of their own medicine, catching Dani Olmo in no man's land. Di Marco baiting on the weak side, and Dumfries went, oh!
In the first leg, Denzel Dumfries played like a man on a mission. 2 goals and an assist for the opener. All the focus was on what Yamal could do in the right wing for Barcelona, but at right wing back for Inter, Denzel Dumfries was the outball. It continued in the second leg as well. He was the key to almost everything good Inter did going forward. The fact that Barcelona failed to spot this proved costly. Then it goes down to the tactical battle. It feels like this. This Inter team was confident with the fact that Barcelona was going to score, was going to dominate possession, 70% to Inter's 30% in that second leg. But the difference here is that this Inter team didn't just sit back and defend throughout the game. They were brave enough to create opportunities of their own. Over both legs, these two were incredible. Lautaro Martinez with the opener in the second leg, the same way Marcus Thuram scored the opener in the first. Lautaro Martinez played that second leg with a thigh injury. Marcus Thuram at one point looked like he'd run out of gas. And yet, he played a major role in Inter's game-winning goal in extra time. Fourth wind. The point with these two, relating to Barcelona, is how Barca failed to spot the danger with the duo. They made runs off each other, and there's even more reason to believe if Martinez was fully fit in the second leg, the damage could have been more. But it would be unfair to talk about Barcelona from an attacking perspective without praising the performance of that team.
I'm very disappointed about that we are out. So I'm disappointed, but not disappointed about the performance of my team. They try everything and you know, this is the thing, and of course we are out now, and but next year we will start again. We will start again, and we will make our fans, our supporters, and the club and everyone around us happy.
Despite the defeat, he was proud of his team, and he has every right to be. Yes, Inter Milan advanced to the final, but the attacking displays from Barcelona to a large extent were incredible. As the numbers we talked about earlier show, they're the highest scoring team in the top European leagues this season with 160. That figure will most likely be more by the time this video goes out. They score goals at an alarming rate, and the sync in that front three is insane. Rafinha is in the best goal-scoring season of his career, with over 30 goals and 20 assists for Barcelona this season. To think about this alone, over 50 goal contributions in 2024-25. That's insane. But it's not just him. Robert Lewandowski is into the 40-count mark for goals this season. Lamine Yamal has 39 goal contributions as of recording this. Factor players like Ferran Torres, who have also chipped in their fair share of goals, and that team has been incredible. But like the game against Inter showed, sometimes all it takes is a great wall.
My gosh, when they needed a save tonight, he made a save. Make all the saves you're supposed to, and make one of the saves that you're not supposed to, and there you have it. Tonight it was defined by Jan Sommer.
Jan Sommer. Incredible. You think about the saves he made, then you think about the fact that he was man of the match in the second leg, despite conceding 3, and it says a lot about this Barcelona team. But ultimately, defense is where it's at for Hansi Flick, and that infamous quote comes to mind. Attack wins you games, defense wins you titles. This is a difference for Barcelona this season, the kryptonite. It wasn't just the Inter game. Think back to the 5-4 win against Benfica, or the comeback 4-2 win against Atletico Madrid. Some of the goals they conceded were indicators that Hansi Flick's tactics had a workaround. It even happened in La Liga with a lesser team, Celta Vigo. When they faced Barcelona just under a month ago, Celta Vigo showed the world it was possible to work around this Barcelona team and Hansi Flick's tactics. That Highline that caught opponents off so many times this season, Celta neutralized that threat. Boya Iglesias scored a hat-trick in that game, but there was more to that story. Celta Vigo was not caught offside once throughout the game. With the combination of well-timed runs and being effective, they managed to score 3 goals. Take it back to December last year, and Real Betis also managed 0 offsides and 2 goals in a 2-2 draw against Barcelona in the league. The point with all of this is, as good as this Barcelona team was in that attacking department, Results like the ones to Celta Vigo and Real Betis or Benfica showed that this Barcelona team could concede goals, tons of them, but Flick aimed to try and outscore the opposition. Ultimately, it led to his downfall. Barcelona won't win the treble in 2025. They won't do a third treble since the turn of the 20th century. Not necessarily because the team was bad, but because they had no plan B. Think about this from an Inter Milan perspective. Tactically, Simone Inzaghi was willing to adapt. He has his own style of play, the way his team operates, getting his centre-backs to process high up the pitch, as shown with the Serbi's goal to send the game into extra time. His Inter team is known for being resilient, not to be mistaken for parking the bus, but knowing how to defend and enjoy it. He was willing to sacrifice this and adapt to an open approach of going all out in certain phases of play against this Barcelona team. The angle here is, it's almost as if this was a backup plan from Inzaghi, and we couldn't see the same from Hansi Flick.
Halfway line, when there's minutes, seconds left to see the game out, and they're still trying to play this offside. When the goal comes, they're still trying to squeeze, they get caught, Acerbi's in an offside position because they're so high, and when the ball comes in, obviously second phase, he's onside. And that, in the end, is something we've talked about all season, was in the biggest moment of the biggest occasions, was this kind of kamikaze defending going to cost them? And I think we got our answer tonight.
Before we get to the intricacies of where this game was won and indeed lost, Ali, just overall you could just see at the end of the game, everybody left everything out there on the pitch.
This in a nutshell sums it up. The team is leading 3-2 on aggregate, with very little time to play, and yet, look at where Acerbi is when he scores that goal late on to force it to extra time. Look at the numbers forward. It makes no sense trying to understand why Barcelona would commit that many numbers forward to get another goal when they could have easily sat back and seen out the game. It's been constantly playing this season, how that Highline could eventually cost Hansi Flick, how he needed to find a balance to that system, but he didn't, and Inter ultimately found a way. You also factor in issues such as fatigue. Key players like Balde and Koundé getting injured late on this season after the insane amount of games they've played this season. Pedri unable to complete 90 minutes in the last 4 games, going the distance versus Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey final, playing a couple of players out of position. All this added up to how this Barcelona team failed at the biggest hurdle in the Champions League. It would be harsh to term this season as a failure for Barcelona though. They've won the Copa del Rey, won the Spanish Super Cup, and are leading the race to win La Liga, so it's still a relatively successful debut season for Flick and his team. But that Champions League defeat, the one where it hurts the most, was a big blow. Just how much does this affect Barcelona's season then? Is it a failure in that sense? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to Matchday Moments as well.